Are you looking to take the next step toward investing in commercial real estate but don't know where to go? CRE Central offers a comprehensive education and coaching platform designed to help you get started. Our online courses cover a wide range of topics, from the fundamentals to advanced strategies, ensuring you have the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in this competitive industry. As a member, you'll gain access to our exclusive online community and monthly group coaching calls, providing you with valuable networking opportunities and personalized guidance from experienced professionals. Whether you're a beginner or looking to take your career to the next level, CRE Central has the resources you need. Visit www.crecentral.com to learn more. Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Investor Podcast, live from the Cobble Group studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. Back for another round of office hours. Excited to be diving into y'all's questions. As always, Tuesday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Jump into the live chat. I'm here to answer any questions that you have around commercial real estate. Looks like we've got some people jumping in the live chat already. Excited to catch up with you all. While we're waiting for some more questions to come in, I'm going to catch you guys up on what's been going on for the past week. So some of y'all may know that property management is like Parasol, which is my property management company. That is a vertical of my commercial real estate investments. That's a company that I own. And it's not a company that I've largely focused on up until more recently. It's something that has grown as I've acquired properties, as the Cobble Group has done what it's doing. And now we're starting to focus on growing the commercial property management. We've got about 2.1 million square feet under management with that firm. So we're looking to grow. If you have a commercial property management company in the Tennessee area that you want to sell or merge, reach out, let us know, let's have a conversation. If you are fired up about commercial property management, you want to come see what it's like to work with me, but you've got a lot of experience in commercial property management and want the keys of the kingdom, come talk to us. I mean, we're probably going to be hiring a director of property management in the next 3 to 6 months, somebody to come in and run that company and grow it for us. So if that's you, reach out, office@thecobblegroup.com. We'd love to talk. We are also hiring commercial real estate brokers. I have way too many leads and also just want to surround myself with an awesome sales team. So if you are a badass commercial real estate broker, you've got at least 3 to 5 years of experience, and you just want a cool place to come do commercial real estate where you all have a lot of opportunity, as well as better commission splits than you can get anywhere else. We actually have the best commission splits I've ever seen. It's definitely the best setup. Reach out. We've got a vacancy now for buyers and tenant reps. We've got a lot of commercial real estate buyers that I need somebody to come in and start handling these leads for me. But let's be honest, if you can't generate your own business, no need to apply. I mean, commercial real estate brokerage is a tough game, and especially if you're going to come work with me, you got to be the top of the top. So want to put that out there if you were looking at getting started in commercial real estate brokerage or just making a switch. Like I said, not really necessarily getting started, because you're going to have probably at least 3 years of experience. That way I don't have to train you on the absolute basics. Shoot me an email there too, office@thecobblegroup.com. We are doing another webinar this Thursday, August 22nd, live training on transitioning from residential to commercial real estate investing. We did one a couple of weeks ago, and it was such a smashing success and hit that I decided, let's go ahead and try it again. So we're doing it again on Thursday night. My thought is, moving forward, we'll probably be doing these live trainings once a month. Why not? Give you guys an opportunity to jump in, learn more about commercial real estate, and teach how-tos on the topics that y'all are really interested in. That's upcoming Thursday, August 22nd. Apparently, I can't spell register. I said registrar for the webinar. That is in the live chat. We got a link pinned to the top. If you are interested in coming to that live training, click on that link, register for it, and we'll see you there. This Saturday, I'm teaching a class at Vanderbilt Owen. I'm very excited to be guest lecturing there for their MBA program. My mentor is a professor at Vanderbilt and has asked me to come in and do a presentation on the Cobble Group, the past 6 years, deconstructing the firm. So it's really interesting. I've never done a presentation like that before, but basically I'm walking through how we got started, how we built the company, what our revenues were every year, what caused, our upward trajectory, and then for a couple years, a downward trajectory, and what we're looking like this year, which is going to be our best year ever by far. So it's going to be a fun presentation. It's cool to sit down and reflect. I know what our company revenues have been, but I've never actually put them on a bar chart and looked at them compared to each other. And it's kind of wild to think about the inflection points that I've had within each company and how they have impacted what we're doing, right? Like we see steady growth up until 2020, from 2018, 2019, 2020, steady growth, right? Like 15, 20, 30% increases year over year. And then 2021, it just skyrockets, which makes sense because that's when I started YouTube. I started YouTube in 2020. I started the podcast in 2020. Content marketing has been a huge, huge aspect of my business. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. You're hanging out because you like the YouTube channel. You like that we're talking about commercial real estate, and we will be doing that quite a bit. Speaking of talking about commercial real estate, one thing I don't do is celebrate the wins enough, because I honestly just feel like it's bragging, and I don't like to do that. But I am very humbled. We're about to cross the 70 member mark for the CRE Accelerator program. I really started focusing on that back in May 1st. And so, in a matter of 3 months, we've grown to almost 70 members, which makes it infinitely more exciting for me now because we have such amazing people that are involved in this program. It looks like my mic's working fine. Okay. So that's the fun thing for me is that now we've got a lot of people that are involved. You've got this brain trust of others. I'm learning so much from everybody else. It is a lot of fun to be involved in that. So had to brag about that for a second. We've got some amazing members. We've got an in-person meetup here in October 18th and 19th. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing you all. All right, AM is saying, always a pleasure listening to you, Tyler. AM, glad you're always joining us. Besides the underwriting spreadsheet resources on your site, are you using any other tools for underwriting? Thanks. AM, I'm assuming you're talking about like where I source data and things like that. That we only use the spreadsheets in terms of actually running the numbers. So when it comes to like where we're finding data, a lot of it's either anecdotal, right? We just know the neighborhoods really well, or it's a lot of talking to brokers, making sure that we understand where the leasing market is, etc. So that's kind of how we do it. I've got a few videos on this channel about underwriting. We dive a lot into that on the course because I know underwriting is a big thing for everybody. Vicken is saying, hey guys, what is going on, Vicken? Good to see you. Example, Brad is saying example. Why do car washes do a triple net lease? Go Vols. Yeah, Brad, go Vols. So car washes will do a triple net lease for the same reason that any tenant would do a triple net lease. They want to take control of the property. They want to maintain their brand image. They want to not rely on a landlord to take care of the common area maintenance, right? Honestly, like that's what it comes down to. If you look at like Starbucks, right, they are very conscientious of their brand image. If they're paying a landlord to take care of the common areas and the landlord doesn't do it and there's a bunch of trash outside, you think Starbucks is just going to sit around and let that trash pile up until the landlord comes and takes care of it? Absolutely not. They're going to end up paying their employees to take care of it anyway. So that's why car washes will do a triple net lease, because it's a good lease structure for what they want to accomplish. But two, most of these guys are preferred developers, and they're just trying to make a lot of money selling these assets on a cap rate, and they know that investors will pay more for triple net. Vicken is saying, good morning, Tyler, long time. Hey, Vicken, good to hear from you, man. Thanks for joining us. AM is saying, what is the smallest and largest deal you've done in East Nashville? Are you investing anywhere else? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, smallest deal I've ever done was 2,200 square feet. I actually ended up selling that last year, and we seller financed it. It ended up being a great deal, but I bought it for, I want to say $435,000, so pretty small deal, and we sold it for $625,000. The largest deal I've done in East Nashville, I mean, honestly, like in East Nashville, it's probably my hotel, which is 48 keys. We're under construction now. We'll be delivering by the end of this year, early next year. And that will be, all in about $10 million. And like I said, 48 keys. So, yes, we do invest other places. I mean, I've got an $18 million piece of property up in Madison, which is 10 minutes away from my office, that we bought. That's a 330,000 square foot shopping center. I've got 1.5 million square feet out in Chattanooga at the Peerless Mill. So mostly Tennessee, but we will consider other places if it makes sense. JJ saying, hey Tyler, I work as an asset manager for a real estate syndication. I'm spearheading the vertical integration of the portfolio and I'm having trouble staying productive as there are loads of small items that need to be hammered out. How do you stay productive? Oh, JJ, man, honestly, he's clarifying even more. Items that need to be completed. How do you stay focused and productive with the bigger picture in mind? Honestly, I just focus on the things that I like and that I'm good at. I mean, that's really it. I try and hire for the aspect, this isn't bodybuilding. You don't need to focus on your weaknesses and make them better. In my opinion, leave your weaknesses alone. Go focus on your strengths. And, for me, my strengths are content creation. It's talking to people. It's conveying the vision of what we want to do and how we're going to get there. It's not necessarily being in the details, right? So I hire detail people. So that's the most important thing to me. And also, if you love what you're doing, you're going to be super productive. And I'm obviously not saying that you don't love what you do, but I love it. So it's very easy for me to be doing what I do for 10, 12 hours a day if I have to, because it's fun. I genuinely enjoy it. So Husnain is saying, yo, I think you need a video editor for your YouTube videos. What do you think about that? What I think about that is I've already got a video editor for my YouTube videos and they do a great job. So appreciate that. Let's see, Cesar is saying, good morning, Tyler. Any traction in Rossville, Georgia? Yeah, if y'all tuned in last week, you heard about all of the drama going on at the Peerless Mill. I may or may not have been reached out to by a national publication about that, which is kind of wild. I've had news agencies all over the place reaching out, trying to get the story. And I haven't been giving it to anybody because, honestly, I don't really want to say much more than what I've already said. I want to get the problem fixed, and then I'm happy to talk about it. So as far as traction goes, yes, we're getting traction. We've got great relationships with the council members. They are incredibly helpful, and they're helping push the deal forward. So at the moment, we are filling out the paperwork, which we were told was already filled out. So I'm doing it a second time. And we'll be submitting that, and then I'll be presenting at the council meeting in Rossville, Georgia, in September. So we'll see how that goes. I would imagine it's going to be it's going to be a little explosive. We'll see. It'll be fun if nothing else. Vicken is saying, I think I'm moving to Georgia, USA. Awesome, Vicken. Georgia is great. Not too far from Nashville. Evan is saying, recently bought land for flex space. 2 people willing to help me build. One has his own storage facility and is very experienced, but will take 50%, or the other guy will play the bank for a fee. Who? Evan, I would imagine you're asking which partner you're going to go with. So here's the thing. If the first partner that wants 50% of the deal is going to be signing on the debt and they're going to be bringing money to the table and experience, and you don't have to bring a whole lot, 50% is not a lot to ask. I mean, I see far too many newbies in real estate and commercial real estate in general that want way too much of a deal when they don't have cash, they don't have, can't sign on the debt, they don't have assets for collateral, they don't have the experience, right? My first deal, I got 10% profit share. That's it. I mean, I found it, I put it together, I ran the entire damn thing. So to me, if that is the case, I mean, there's a lot of details I would have to know, of what you've got going on. But I mean, to me, it sounds like that could work for you. So hope that helps. AM, are there any deals that you hate doing? Multifamily, I guess. Like that to me, I mean, I haven't done a multifamily deal in a long time, but that just sounds absolutely miserable to me. I don't want to deal with those kinds of tenants and deal with fair housing and deal with all of the issues that come with having, 150, 200 tenants in one location that are all just causing problems, to be honest. So, to me, multifamily seems like a nightmare, but I love everything else. Depends on what it is. Frank is saying, looking at a flex space, property is not in the floodway zone, but back of the property has floodway touching it, and the land is in the 100-year flood zone. Thoughts on buying it? I mean, Frank, honestly, like for most flex space, that shouldn't be an issue, dealing with, 100-year flood zone. However, it will probably impact your flood insurance, which is a nightmare to get sometimes. I mean, as long as you are disclosing that to tenants, I mean, flex space is kind of the ideal thing to be developing in a space like that. It all comes down to, is the property discounted so much that it's worth the hassle and the risk? And two, is there anything easier you could go focus on instead? I mean, I've never bought anything in the floodway or at a flood zone because Nashville's so big, there's so many other properties to go work on. Somebody would basically have to give me property in a floodway for me to want to deal with it, in my opinion. Top G, yo bro, I think you need a video editor. What is going on with these people jumping in telling me I need a video editor? I've got a really good video editor, so I appreciate that. I'm getting spammed this morning. Bama is saying, for a first-time commercial investor, what kind of properties would you look at first? Bama, I would say pretty much anything, right? I mean, you can make millions of dollars doing any kind of commercial property. All it comes down to is your commitment and your consistency, right? As long as you're committed to learning everything about that asset class and doing everything you can to find a deal, and you're consistent in going out and looking at deals and underwriting deals and finding them, it doesn't matter what you do. As far as like what is easiest, maybe flex space, could be self-storage. It depends on your area. It's a really tough question to ask, right? Because or to answer, because it's like, hey, what type of car is best? Well, I don't know if you've got 4 kids, because then, saying, hey, a Corvette is probably the worst kind of car that you could actually get because you're not going to be able to load your 4 kids up in there. I could say a minivan, but you might be, a single dad in his 50s that's going through a midlife crisis that prefers a Corvette, right? So it's kind of tough to say, but I mean, hey, that's the beauty of commercial real estate. There are so many different asset classes that, can really fit your personal investment needs. So it really all comes down to what does your market look like? What does the overall economy look like? And what kind of deals can you find? At the end of the day, that's kind of it. If you can find a good deal, I mean, look, if I found a good multifamily deal today, I'd buy it. There aren't any because everybody is out of their minds with the valuations on multifamily real estate. But I would do a deal if it was a deal. So let's see. Z-Fan is saying, hey, Tyler, I wanted to reach out of the same deal of last week, national tenant. My strategy was the same as yours of having a tenant in tow, and it was my first time. My due diligence was 60 days, and it was running out. Didn't want my earnest money deposit to go hard. How would you have arranged a deal like this where I would have needed more time to close, but I also wouldn't want the seller to get frustrated on not closing and asking why? Since the franchisee wanted due diligence of 120 days and 210 days more after permit is issued, this was more than 60 days I have for due diligence. Seller doesn't know what's going on in background, and they could easily just not give us more time. I did, however, get the franchisee non-binding LOI for 20 years, triple net, and they didn't want to put down a security deposit. Would have been best to make it a binding LOI. Z-Fan, that was you typed out a paragraph there. Okay, so what I would say is, it's really tough to deal with new construction development deals if you don't own the property, right? So, the best thing that you could have done is just buy the land and then go and find a tenant like this, because you can put up with that kind of stuff. The reason that I'm able to lease to tenants when I put properties under contract is because the building is existing, the space is existing, and they can go in, they can see it. They don't have to do a due diligence period. They don't have to go through permitting. They don't have to go through rezoning. There are so many issues that you will encounter when you are doing ground up development. And honestly, I don't know what it is. Like I don't make it seem easy. And I definitely don't talk about it being easy. Ground up development is the hardest thing you could ever do in commercial real estate. It doesn't matter if you're doing a ground up, single tenant net lease deal or a ground up tower. It is significantly more difficult than anything else in commercial real estate. And, there's a lot of just moving pieces that you kind of have to deal with that are honestly really difficult to deal with. And it's kind of like what you just found there, that tenant's not willing to commit to anything until they know that they can do it. Well, you're not willing to commit to anything until you know that the tenant's going to commit to something. So, you're kind of in this catch-22 where nobody can really move because everybody's kind of stuck. So honestly, what I would do, Z-Fan, on the next one is just buy the property. All right. I mean, do your due diligence, make sure that you understand what you're getting into. But hey, if you are confident enough that you can find a tenant to lease that property from you, either do a ground lease or do a build to suit, then I would buy it. And that's the best way to do it. Or if you're wanting to buy a commercial property and then lease it to a tenant to have that help you with your appraisal or whatever, buy something that's existing to where the tenant doesn't have to go through so much work to understand what's going on there. So hope that helps. Cesar, is there a possible beginner-friendly tutorial, for example, crash course, meet and greet, for investing with Hamilton Development? Oh, yeah, my company. Looking to invest within 2 years. Cesar, absolutely. So the way that investing with my development company works, we syndicate deals, we do value add, and we'll do some ground up development, but it's mostly value add, is to just book an investing call with me. As long as you have $50,000 or more that you are looking to place into a syndication, you are welcome to go to investwithhamilton.com or tylercobble.com/invest. And either one of those will basically take you to kind of the same spot. Sign up to invest with me there, and we'll hop on a call. Because what I do is a 506B syndication. We have to have a pre-existing relationship, which means I got to hop on the phone with you. I want to know what your real estate experience is. I want to know how much you understand about what I do. I want to explain to you how we do things, what we do, all of that kind of stuff. So it's typically just a quick 10 or 15 minute call, and then we kind of build the relationship out from there. So book that call. Happy to talk to you. Robert, what's going on, man? He's saying, hey there, Tyler. I was curious, what is an average cost to get a project through a pre-development process? $70,000? So Robert, good question. It really depends, right? I've had some deals that we've gotten through the pre-dev process like for under 20 grand, but that's because they already had a lot of the work done. So we just didn't have to spend a lot. Now, did I have to pay more for the property? Sure. We typically budget around $100,000 to $150,000 for every deal that we're getting into for pre-development. Now, most of the projects that I'm doing are between $2 and $5 million. We have some that go up as high as $10 to $20 million. It just depends. The $18 million deal that I did, we probably spent $300,000 or $400,000 on pre-dev. So it really kind of comes down to the size of the deal, right? Because that determines how much work you're going to have to really do on the front end. But I would say if you're in that $2 to $5 million range, $70,000 to $150,000 should be a good budget. I would just plan on it being $150,000, and if you're coming out of that, hell yeah, good for you. But it kind of depends, right? Like it's, if you're building on the side of a mountain, that's going to be a little bit more expensive than if you're building in Texas. I guess it depends on what part of Texas. Cayman is saying, if your house could be converted to an office, how would you go about evaluating if it's worth more as commercial property? That's a good question, Cayman. I will say, in my experience, while people love commercially zoned homes, they are almost never worth it we've talked to a number of clients because East Nashville has a lot of commercially zoned homes in this area, and it's almost never worth it to go through the rezoning, it's not even a rezoning, to go through the process to bring it up to code so that we can get a use and occupancy permit for commercial, because you basically have to go through and redo all of the codes, right? So I'm talking new ADA accessibility, fire and life safety. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you just wouldn't necessarily think of. And it ends up being like $30,000 to $50,000 or more to actually prepare a house for a commercial tenant. And then from there, it just depends on how much you can actually rent it out for and base it on a cap rate, right? I mean, something like that's more probably locally focused, that's going to have, a smaller credit tenant. You're probably going to be at about, 7.25%, 7.5% cap rate by the time it's done. So that's what I would do, is I would just kind of look at that and say, hey, I think we can rent it out for X. We'd have a 7.5% cap rate on that. The values of property at Y. Is it worth the headache? I think in the long run, absolutely, it's going to be worth more to have a commercially zoned home, but it's expensive to actually convert it over and to prepare it for commercial tenants. Marine from Texas, love that name. Tyler, first time catching you live. Appreciate your content. We'll love to see you put out some walkthrough content of underwriting commercial deals and how to get national tenants. Absolutely, Marine. We've got a couple of videos out there. I mean, honestly, I haven't done any videos on underwriting in a long time. So I probably should do a couple of new videos on that, just walking y'all through it. Because I actually do that for our group coaching calls all the time. So couldn't hurt to just do one or two for YouTube, right? So I'll put that in the bank. Appreciate you, Marine. AM is saying, from all the deals you've done, have you found seller financing to be the best strategy you've used? Not necessarily. I mean, I think seller financing is great. It solves a lot of problems, but it's just a tool in my toolkit, right? So it'd be tough for me to say, like, is the hammer the best tool in the toolkit? It depends, right? Because hammers are really good for hitting nails. Hammers are terrible for hitting screws, right? They're not really that effective for that. So I think it's important to look at each creative strategy, each strategy in general, really just as a tool in your toolkit to get the job done. Can you get every deal done with seller financing? Can you get every construction job done with a hammer? Yeah. Is it really going to be the best thing that you could have for every scenario? Probably not. You might be knocking holes in walls. I love seller financing. It's definitely one of my favorite tools in the toolkit, but certainly not the only one. Z-Fan is saying it was an existing building, not ground up development. What would you have done since it's existing second generation drive-through? So Z-Fan, it sounds to me like Jeff is saying, bro, have you thought about getting a video editor? That's hilarious. Sorry, I had to cut that off. Talk about that. That's great, Jeff. So as far as, if it was an existing building, then I would have found a different tenant. I mean, honestly, I would have told him to pound sand. You want 120 days of due diligence and then 210 days to figure out your permitting on top of that? Go somewhere else, right? But when you are really good at finding tenants for the properties, you have that capability because you're like, well, fine, I've got 7 other tenants over here that are willing to take it. I don't have to sit here and put up with that. I think that it all comes down to making sure, and this is like sales 101, but it also comes down to being an investor, being a developer, being in business in general. Make sure that you have so many different routes that you can take that you're not overly dependent on one. Because if you only have one tenant that this entire deal hinges on, and they decide that they don't want to move forward with this deal for whatever reason, deal is dead. But if you have 5 different alternative options, then that one tenant doesn't matter as much. You're not as desperate to make a deal with them. So that's what I would have done. I would have said, pound sand. I'm calling your competitors, and I'm going to put them in here instead. Let's see, Jeff is saying, and not loading kids in the vet is the point. Good morning, brother. Keep putting out this amazing content, and the videos are incredible. Jeff, appreciate you, buddy. And love the quip there. I think that's so funny. Getting a video editor. I've never had people like spam me in my live streams before, so This is getting interesting. All right, guys. Sorry, this is the last one. We were running out of time. If I missed your questions, please drop them in the actual chat. I'll get to them. But Carl is saying, want to purchase an old golf driving range and rehab it? Possibly. I mean, hey, I'm open to a lot of things. Depends on where it is. Depends on how much money it makes. It depends on, if I'll become a better golfer by buying it. I'm terrible at golf. I love it sometimes. It's I golf once every 2 years. But hey, if it makes money, if it's a cool property, let's check it out. Appreciate you guys for joining me. We were out of time for today. Don't forget to join me live Tuesdays, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time here on YouTube to dive into your questions here on Office Hours. Appreciate you all. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk here again soon. Are you looking to take the next step toward investing in commercial real estate but don't know where to go? CRE Central offers a comprehensive education and coaching platform designed to help you get started. Our online courses cover a wide range of topics, from the fundamentals to advanced strategies, ensuring you have the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in this competitive industry. As a member, you'll gain access to our exclusive online community and monthly group coaching calls, providing you with valuable networking opportunities and personalized guidance from experienced professionals. Whether you're a beginner or looking to take your career to the next level, CRE Central has the resources you need. Visit www.crecentral.com to learn more.